And we're live, people. Welcome to the CSD Fantasy live stream. I'm gonna post on Twitter that we're live and give it a minute or so before I start answering questions. I think I just got another one here on YouTube on one of my videos, so I'm gonna see what that was all about. That looks like Tyler Boyd or Kenny Stills. My bad. That was not supposed to happen. So let's add Kenny Stills right here. Pretty sure I'm starting Stills this week. Let's see how it look in the stream. Seems to be looking pretty good. Yeah, quality seems to be alright. Stream health is yellow. I guess that's decent. Give it another 30 seconds before I start answering the first question. In the meantime, I answer questions here in the YouTube chat and on Twitter at CSD Fantasy, so you can leave a comment in the chat or on Twitter, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. If you comment here on YouTube, you have priority over the Twitter questions. But I have some questions lined up that we're going to answer that are on some of the YouTube videos that you can check out. For instance, we got one here on Tyler Boyd, which is a fantasy snapshot video I created on Friday. So this comes from Gabriel, and he says, I can't decide between Tyler Boyd and Chris Carson at flex. So I have that done here already. With Chris Carson and Tyler Boyd, and we see that Carson has a high projection but much more risk, lower floor, lower ceiling. I would start Tyler Boyd for me this week, and usually I would take a picture for Gabriel, but since he's on YouTube I can't post it to him, so I'll just let him know that for me it's Tyler Boyd. Next question comes from Drew, and he also has Tyler Boyd. That's why I have them prepared here. And he wants to know between Tyler Boyd and Kenny Stills. Stills has a little lower probability of reaching 9.9, but he has similar floor, similar ceiling. Maybe like a little 0.9 points higher, which means that he has a little bit better chance of scoring a lot of points this week. So for me, same here. I will go with Kenny Stills over Boyd. Even though like I like Boyd a lot, and I'm gonna let him know I like him a lot too. But I've been liking Kenny Stills all year. I was liking him all before the season started, and I would also like to see, I see that somebody joined the chat room here on the live stream. So welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board. I'm answering questions that I have on Twitter, and you can also put them in the comments on YouTube. But we got one from Dan Skrilla, Dan the Man, one of my regulars, and he wants to know Tom Brady or Ben Roethlisberger, who I'm starting this week. That's a pretty telling tale who I'm going to be starting. It's going to be Ben. You see, like, there's not even a competition for me this week. I much prefer Roethlisberger over Brady. So we're going to let Dan know that I like Ben a lot. I also had Roethlisberger as one of my must starts in the score projection article I wrote on Thursday. Score projection articles comes out every Thursday, and waiver wires on Tuesdays. Fantasy snapshot videos here on YouTube on Wednesdays and Fridays, and then you got the head-to-head video on Saturdays that you can check out. It was Isaiah Crowell versus Carlos Hyde this week. So that was Dan. Thank you, Dan. We got one from Kurt. Kurt already starting Devontae. He wants one wide receiver and one flex out of Chris Hogan, Aaron Jones, Chris Goodwin. Is that his name? Yes. I keep mixing him up with Godwin and Geronimo. Mo Allison. Since Cobb is likely out, this changes. This was done before Cobb was ruled out, so that's a little low, 4.9. But he has a high probability. I still like him a lot though, even with these numbers. Even if Cobb would have played, he was 1 wide receiver and 1 flex. Okay, Aaron Jones is the running back. This is non-PPR good. So first off, I like Allison first. Even though you see the projection is low, but that is done with Cobb in mind. So Allison's numbers were for Cobb, but I have him at 1. And who's next? 42, 45, 9, 7, 8, 14 is low. And Goodwin then at 2. That was from Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you for waiting too. I know you've been waiting all day to get that question answered. I'll let you wait a long time for that one. And I see that more people joined the stream. Welcome to the stream. If you want your question answered, just leave them in the chat here on YouTube and you get priority on your question. If you want, you can also hit me up at CSD Fantasy on Twitter and I'll get to it as fast as I can. But thank you for joining me. We got one from Steve, and he wants to know about Tariq. That's wrong. Tariq Cohen or Bilal Powell this week. And that's also, it's the same as with Tom Brady and Roethlisberger. It's a clear victory for Powell. 9.5 with 42% compared to the 8.5 with 5%. High floor, high ceiling. Easy victory for Powell. Let's copy that and send that to Steve. Hi, Steve. Hi. We'll go with Powell. No questions. So that was that one. I'm gonna run through all the questions I have lined up on Twitter. Probably do the stream for half an hour or something like that, unless we get more questions here on YouTube. That's usually what I try to do. And just run through the questions that I've collected during the day on Twitter in the meantime until more on it come in. So we got from Andre, Chris Hogan, or Keelan Cole. This is interesting. I haven't focused too much on Cole this week. Haven't heard too much about him either. That's the first question. He has a little high projection, roughly the same. Higher. So Cole it is. That was pretty good numbers for Cole actually. He's been I did a video on him last week, but I didn't know I liked him that much this week actually. But I like Cole this week, even in PPR, just so he knows. Let's double check that. Yeah, 14 against 10. So that's good. Thank you, Andre. So we got one from Seth. Welcome to the stream, Seth. Thank you for your question. Hey, like your stuff. Have a flex question in standard. Keelan Cole. Oh, perfect. And Tyler Boyd. Awesome people I make videos on, so I know more. I don't have any numbers for rookies this week about Callaway, but I will next week. Next week will be the first week where I have rookie numbers, so there's going to be a video about Calvin Ridley, for instance, and there's going to be a lot more players entering the projections, so I have a lot more stats to go by. So I don't want to say too much about him, but I'm guessing you just want one player. And out of these two, I like Tyler Boyd better. I think he has a chance to reach that one game ceiling. 17.6 is quite a lot actually. And he has a high probability of getting to 8.6. And not reaching 8.6, the risk is pretty low. Both of them have similar floors, which is not super low floors for wide receivers, but still you would have liked them to be in the 4s. something like that. But 3.3 is all right. So I would start Boyd this week. Going forward, I would probably like to have Boyd on my team as well. So thank you for that question, Seth, and I hope I answered it in a okay fashion. I know I don't have the rookie numbers, and I'm sorry about that. And we got one from Ryan. Welcome to the chat, Ryan, and the stream. Thank you for your question. And it's Marshawn Lynch. Lynch versus Nelson Aguilar. So this is standard. Thanks, Ed. This is standard. We got PPR for him 15, so we got him for 7 receptions this week. That's a lot. Marshawn is still ahead of him in starter with 12. I don't have any PPR numbers for the running backs, which is not bad actually. But I would still run with Lynch. I think he gets a couple of receptions and he has a good probability of reaching his standard projection. So I would roll with Lynch. Let's assume he gets 12.9 in standard and then he adds 3 points in PPR, something like that. So I hope I answered that question well as well, Ryan. Thank you for it. And we got one from Sahal. I hope I pronounced that correctly. They're having some trouble on the flex position. Choices are Dion Lewis, Corey Davis, Quincy, and Nunwa. Kerryon Johnson again and Callaway don't have numbers for them. I'm sorry, and this is standard. We can go out and see the PPR numbers for the receivers. I got them for 4 and 6 receptions. That's with Dion Lewis. He gets a lot of them though, and the probability. Full point PPR, you've been having trouble with flex position choices. I'm guessing you just want one of them. I will go with Enunwa. I don't really know how to pronounce that either. But I will go with him. He has a good chance of scoring a lot with these numbers in standard, and then add a couple of points, the PPR points with 6. So he has a good chance to be really good this week. I'm a little bit worried about the other plays, especially Corey Davis. I've kind of been low on him for a while, which I got a lot of hate for this offseason. And thank you so much for the question. And I see more people entering the stream. Welcome. You can just leave your questions on in the YouTube chat here, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I hope I answered your question fair, Sahal, and that I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you. And we got one from Mauro, and it's Tyler Boyd. Geronimo Allison. And this is the same like I said before. These numbers are done before Cobb went out. And with that in mind, Allison is a little safer play. You see he has a lot more probability, but the projection should probably be a few points higher. Let me do a quick check and see what his probability get to if we bump that up to 8.6. So it'd be easier to compare the two. I'm doing it off screen if you're wondering, because it gets a little complicated with the algorithm changing stuff. It's a big sheet too as well, so it might take a second. So I appreciate your patience. Also, if you have any comment on the quality of the stream with the sound or music or your screen resolution, please let me know if it's anything too bad, because I know my internet is not the best and it hasn't been the best lately. Okay, let's bump him up to 8.6. Okay. Like I said, that does mess up with the algorithm somewhat. 4.9. Let's do 8.6. 77.23. Okay, so it gets to 77 if we put them at the same rate. That's still decent though. So Allison is the safer play, and it's just if you want those extra 3 points here, you can pay for. You can roll with Boyd, but it's a much safer play to go with Allison. So I usually tend to say the safer pick, so I would go with Allison and do the less risky one. So I hope I answered that question fair as well. And thank you, Mauro. Awesome. We've got Sherman. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board. Should I start Marvin Jones or Kenny Golladay? Marvin Jones or Kenny. So I did a video on Kenny Golladay where it turns out that the Dallas defense actually fits him extremely well to the point to where they kind of cancel him out. He's still a decent play this week, but I'm not too hype on starting him. He's a safe pick. I think he's gonna get his receptions because the Cowboys just they can't cover it all. But I would still start Golladay over Jones because Jones is. I haven't done a full analysis on him, but as you can see, they sort of have the same projection, but he has more risk and a lower floor and lower ceiling. So I would still start Golladay, even though I would be quite scared in starting either of them. The Dallas pass defense is actually pretty darn on good. Sean Lee is out though, so that changes a little bit. But I hope I answered that question correctly. I would start Golladay. And thank you for that question, Sherman. And you got another one, Amari Cooper, Doug Baldwin. I'm glad he's back. Did I remove him? That's the quote. Did I remove him from the algorithm? I seem to have done that. Give me 1 second and he should be right back. There we go. And he plays for the Seahawks. Where do we have the Seahawks? There we go. So that's a lot of risk. We should be able to find. That's not done, so don't take what you see on the screen, Sherman, as this is not accurate at all. That's half of the algorithm doing its work. But some stuff has gotten lost that I got in another folder right here. I know this is not highly entertaining, but it will be in a second. In the meantime, I'm really happy that y'all are asking questions. That means that I'm not going to be able to answer all the Twitter questions on the stream because I need to set my lineups as well. I tend to do that really late. I don't know why. It's just a habit of mine. There we go. Finding Baldwin's numbers, and that should change. Okay, so it's still low. It's still really low. Yeah, because I put them in the wrong place. There we go. And this should change it up a little bit. 3.6. No, that's fine. Okay, so I do not like Baldwin at all today. At all. I would not start him. I'm scared. And I don't even like Amari Cooper. I've always been quite hateful of him. That's just weird to say. I want to say I hate the guy, but you know what I mean. I don't like to start him. But I would in this case. I wouldn't trust a player just coming back like that. So that was from Sherman again. Thank you so oh, you had more players. My bad. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones. And so I will still pick the the Detroit players, even though I'm not super hype on them. But you see, the probability of Cooper getting to this is not as good as these two. And with these numbers compared to the Detroit's, it's just to the Lions, PPR, it's roughly the same, but it's still going to be a lot more risk involved. With Amari Cooper. So I would start the Lions player, but the Lions players, but don't expect a bunch of touchdowns. Maybe 1 to 1 of them. But thank you for the question. I really enjoy it, answering, and hope I help everybody as much as possible. And we got Calvin Ridley. I don't have any numbers for the rookies yet. I'm doing a video on Calvin Ridley on Wednesday, so be sure to check that out for next week. I'm sorry about that, but I would probably gamble on him today. Just because the situation with the Falcons, as they are heavily hamstrung at defense with Deion Jones and Keanu Neal out. But so I would roll with Calvin Ridley, even though I don't have any projections for him, which I will have next week when the rookie numbers come out. But I hope I help. I got a lot of DST's questions today too, so I'm gonna pick those before I get another one on YouTube. And as I said, if you put a question on YouTube here in the chat, they get priority, so I will get to them as soon as I see them. And I appreciate everybody who joined me here today. I'm having a blast, and I hope you're having a good time too, and that you're excited about today's football. I'm excited that Cowboys are playing at 1, so I'm actually going to be able to see most of that game. But back to the stream. So we got the Chargers or the Jets as DST. High projection, low probability. Decent projection, high probability of reaching 5.2. Lower floor, but much higher ceiling. I'm rolling with the Jets. And that was from, he has no name. Going with the Jets today. Even though, like, the Chargers play the 49ers without Garoppolo, but it's still... I would still go with the Jets. The Chargers gonna Chargers. Chargers gonna Chargers. That's what they do. Oof. Okay, we got some more questions on Twitter. I'm gonna keep answering them. I got a few more. Otherwise, I see that the chat is kind of calming down, so I'm gonna be answering a few questions. If no more come in, I'm gonna end the stream a little, like around 12:30 Eastern time, as I usually try to do it. But we got the Detroit Lions or the Cleveland Browns for DST. Oof, okay. Even though they're playing the Cowboys, that's an interesting low projection. I mean, they don't throw away the ball too much, I guess. But I'm gonna have to go with the Browns. That's not something you say every day. I'm gonna try to attack as many teams as I possibly can, so I alienate most of my audience. I think that's a good move. If you can, be degrading to as many teams as possible, so nobody enjoys listening to you. I feel like that worked for a lot of people on ESPN and Fox Sports and whatever. So maybe I should try to do something like that too. But we got Demaryius Thomas. Have I said anything bad about the Denver offense? No. Okay. I'll figure something out. We got Thomas or Brown. I've been talking about Brown a lot for the last 2 weeks, and I do like him for this week as well. Even though I like him more going forward than I do like him this week. It's just certain players like Golladay. I love Golladay going forward. I'm just not super excited to start him this week. This week is not the best of weeks for him matchup wise. Just with the analysis of where he catches the ball to where the Dallas defense defend the pass. But I would start Brown this week. And that was from Mike. Thank you, Mike. On Twitter. And then now we got Another DST question. This is awesome. We got the Steelers or the Browns. That looks like the Steelers are gonna win this one. Did it update? Yeah, it did. Okay, so roughly the same probability for a high projection with a high floor and a higher ceiling for Steelers. So we're going with Pittsburgh. And that was from no name as well. Jay, I guess. Jay, going with the Steelers. Of those two. McCoy, help me. Who do I start? Okay. I don't, as I've been saying, I don't have any numbers for Calvin Ridley. But I'll put in and see what I got for Gordon. Let me just update him real quick. Because I know it's going to be a quick change for him. Where is it? There we go. Let's see. 7.4 points for Josh Gordon. I'm still starting Calvin Ridley. I'm not starting Josh Gordon this week. Yeah, I think it should be. I mean, my numbers don't lie to you, but I think it should be 99% risk. I don't trust that guy at all. And I said that last week as well to a person on Reddit, where I said, I don't no, that was earlier when I had Jarvis Landry pegged for 130 targets or something, 150 targets, and he said, oh, why don't you think Josh Gordon's going to play the entire season? Because it's Josh Gordon. He just doesn't do it. So, wait, nobody wants to answer your question? Why? That is hilarious. I'm so intrigued by this. Help, like, you're doing caps lock and quite like exclamation points. Okay, no, I answer every question that is sent to me. If I don't answer, it's because I didn't think it was sent to me on Twitter, but in the YouTube chat, I'll answer any question sent to me. At least for now, when I don't have, like 200 people watching who ask questions, that then it might get a little swamped. But with 3 to 10 people, that's no problem. Yeah, no, caps lock usually will not be the most popular thing with people. But I like I said, I would start Calvin Ridley. Oh, I'm sorry. I would start Calvin Ridley. I don't trust Gordon at all. We got Eli Manning and what's his name? Andy Dalton from Michael. That's pretty even. I had Eli as a high risk, high reward player. I have Andy Dalton more of a safe player with similar projection, much higher probability, much better floor and ceiling. So that's even Eli is a high risk, high reward type guy this week. If you didn't have anybody to put in your lineup for, let's say, Alex Smith, and there was nobody you can pick up, he could have been picked up. But Dalton for life this week. Because we've seen Eli go to New Orleans and just stink it up too. So, what is it? Fantasy Sports Network completely ignored the chat. Just sat there and talked about non-football stuff. Okay, no, this is all football stuff. Unless I get sidetracked and talk about how bad my internet is. We got one new question from TKV Vlog. Oh, TK Vlogs. Larry Legend. I guess that's John Brown. Or is it Jerome? Tyler Boyd. Calvin Ridley. Pick 1. PPR wide receiver 3. I don't have the numbers for Calvin Ridley, as I've been saying. But they will come later next week, when I got the rookie numbers done. I'm from Sweden, but and I live there currently, but I've spent a year and a half in Atlanta before, so that's where I'm moving later on this year. But back to the question from TK, we got Fitz. It was PPR. Let's check the PPR numbers. We got 445, 4314. How does this look? I'm going in PPR. I'm going Boyd, Brown, Fitz in that order, and standard as well. No, standard is more even because I like the 1 game floor of Brown. So Brown and Boyd would be probably a toss-up in standard, but I'm doing Boyd in PPR. But thank you for the question, TK. And I hope I answered it correctly. Or not correctly, but fairly. Batsa, I hope I pronounced that correctly. We got Chris Carson and Alex Collins. Macaboy, what? Did you hear him? Did you hear an accent of some sort? We got Chris Carson and Alex Collins. Awesome, TK. Thank you. And welcome to the stream. I haven't seen your name here before, so welcome to everybody who's watching. I'm gonna keep the stream rolling until all the questions that you send in here are answered. And it's coming. Oh, Thomas, what up, my man? Welcome to the stream once again. Chris Carson, was that in PPR? Or Alex Collins? Okay, this is standard. I need to fix the PPR numbers for the running backs. I don't know why I didn't do that this week. It's been a busy week. But for standard, I'm going. It's a lot of risk with Carson. So I'm gonna have to say Collins in PPR as well. And I'm sorry I don't have better PPR numbers this week. I'll make sure to fix that for next week. I'm gonna put that on my list. I'm sorry, but I hope I answered that question all right, Batsa. We got from Poker Lemon, Marshawn Lynch or LaShawn. Did I? Marshawn or LaShawn McCoy. I know it's going to be Marshawn here. I knew that before I typed it in. I just wanted you to see the numbers. It's an easy pick for me. Beast mode is a must start over McCoy. But thank you for the question, Poker Lemon. We got Thomas, my dude. Pick 2, half point PPR. Kenny Stills. Marvin Jones. And, oh, damn it. Marquise. Yes. Good win. And then you had Royce Freeman, I guess. And I don't have the rookie numbers, as you know. But I like Stills this week. And not good win at all. With that risk in mind. And so, for me, it would be Stills than Jones this week until I have more numbers for Freeman. Like I said, I'm sorry about the rookies, but that will be handled by next week. And Poker said Lynch or McCoy in PPR. Yeah, I have Lynch in PPR as well. Over McCoy. I'm not gonna play McCoy in a little while. And I've been digging Lynch lately. Macaboy, yeah, I could tell there was an accent, but I couldn't tell where you were from. Was going to guess Scotland. Scotland. Okay, yeah, that's a fun guess. I guess my accent is I've been changing it up a little bit because I used to have more of a British accent, but when I moved to the South, I changed it up. You know, the y'alls and the little bit more nasal, and then my Swedish accent kind of melted with British and Southern United States into something very strange. And then I have a little country accent. My fiance is from South Carolina. Ryan wants to know how I like Quincy Enunwa. And mispronouncing things is kind of my thing. So it works well. So we got Enunwa with 7.9, 62% probability. That's pretty decent. I like his floor. Not too high on his ceiling. So Enunwa is sort of like that player I would throw in if I had a deeper league where I needed a safe play. To just, okay, what do I need? I feel like I got a pretty good team, but it's Enunwa or Devontae Parker. I'm playing Anunua all day. All day. I'm not. I don't dislike him. I like Kawahense and is that my pronunciation of him? And then Doug Baldwin, who I don't like this week, or Keelan Cole from Thomas. It's fine. I like the interaction. I don't like Baldwin at all. I wouldn't play him this week. I don't trust him. I like him going forward, maybe next week or so, but this week, but I'm a little risk averse, so I'll tend to stay away from the people that I don't know. Are you saying Giovanni Bernard or Sony Michel, John? We got oh, I missed your Craven. I'll go up. My bad, man. Flacco, perfect. Joe Flacco, Stafford, or Ryan Tannehill. PPR. Yeah, they usually have a lot of receptions. You just never know. You just never know. So what do we got here? We got Flacco at 17.6, 45. So he kind of... I'm not too high on Stafford with that floor. That's worrisome for quarterbacks. Even though he has a pretty high ceiling, it's still worrisome for quarterbacks. Especially with 15.5. He has the lowest projection. So Stafford is out for me this week out of these three. So it's Flacco, lower probability, higher floor, lower ceiling. I would roll with Tannehill out of these three this week. Going forward, I would still have Stafford, but out of these three this week, I'm doing Ryan Tannehill. And I'm sorry I missed your question, Craven. Thank you so much for it. We got Poker Lemon again. We got Sterling, Shepard, or Geronimo. You're on emo, Allison. I'm gonna change it up so Allison has the same projection as Shepard, so it'll be easier to compare since the numbers are a little bit skewed for Allison this week. So give me 1 second to fix that and see what he gets. 42. So I'm going Allison out of those two quite easily, actually. I like him much more than Shepard this week, even though I've been higher on Shepard before, but compared to Allison this week, it's a pretty easy one. Thank you for that question as well, Poker. John, Giovanni Bernard, or Sony Michel? That's not how he spells it. Giovanni. That's how he spells it. I don't have any numbers for Sony Michel this week either. He's a rookie, so he'll be in the lineup next week for me. Not in the lineup, but he will be in the algorithm next week. So just based on this, I like Michel. I like Bernard. Going with what I think of them as players and what I think of their offenses and stuff like that, without looking too much at the algorithm and what usually dictates who I start. But with the Falcons defense, no Joe Mixon. I like Gio. Thank you, John, for that question too. We got Demarius Thomas, and Nelson Aguilar. 9.4 points with 19% probability, 8.2 with 25%, lower floor, roughly the same ceiling. Tough call, very tough call. Was it LKJH, Loke? Was it PPR or standard on that one? They're the same in PPR 15, so that doesn't really matter. PPR. Okay. Perfect. They're roughly the same. So with that in mind, since the PPR points are 5 against 7 with roughly the same total projection, then I will go with Aguilar. Until Jimmy Graham, Thomas, Jimmy G. So I was so thinking Garoppolo. I was like, what, is he messing with me right now? We can just check at Jimmy Graham, Callaway. As I said, don't have any numbers for him. Jimmy Graham or Callaway. I would probably roll Graham for a touchdown upside. I mean, Callaway's alright. That's a tough one for me with no numbers, and I haven't watched that much of Callaway or done any major analysis on him. So I don't want to say too much and give you any wrong ideas. I try to keep it as like transparent as possible. I'm not gonna tell you to start anybody who I wouldn't start. So I don't want to give you any false information or false hope. I'm sorry about that, Thomas. I'll see you next week. Love having you here, and good luck today too. I'm gonna take a few more questions before we should try to start set our lineups. And we got John Larry Fitz. Did you ask about Fitz, or that I missed? That you had him against somebody, or was this just you wanted the numbers for him if I would play him? I would, depending on who I would start him over, but with 91% risk and 8.8 floor, I would not start him. It has to be somebody really terrible for me that I would start Fitz over. Like, let's do and just take somebody. It would be like Trent Taylor. Somebody in that caliber. Josh Bellamy. Trent Taylor. Terrence Williams, who isn't even playing. I would start Fitz over them. Here's a tough one. Golden Tate from Gerald. Golden Tate be doing reaching for the past 50 minutes, or Tyler Boyd. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with Boyd. That's a good floor, though. No, but I would still go with Boyd. I like the probability of reaching 8.6 compared to 55 or 9. So I have them scoring around this area. Boyd has a high probability of doing so. He has a low floor. I like the one game ceiling of 17.6. That's why Boyd is so tempting to me this week, because it just 17.6 is just, that's a lot of points if you can reach that. I mean, that would be a lot over the projection, but it's still, it eludes me. I'm willing to take the 3.33 for the chance of getting the 17.6. Thank you so much for that question too. Yeah, I think that's going to be a high-scoring game, Gerald. And both those offenses has looked really good. Especially the Falcons stepped up after week 1, even though they lost against the Saints. Let's see what... I'm going to try to do all these questions that I've gotten in right now, and then probably end the stream. Thank you so much, everybody who's asking questions. Hope I'm not missing anybody. We got Poker Lemon, Demarius. Or did I already answer the Demaryius Thomas, John Brown one? Let's do that one too. That's going to be Boyd. I know that. We got Nelson, Aguilar. I didn't spell that right. Aguilar. Mike Williams. Corey Davis. Chris Carson from Sleek. No problem, John. Thank you so much for joining me. Actually, scratch that. Which 3 should I start? You got John Brown. I'm going to try to get everybody's up here as much as I can. Golden Tate. That's the same again. Did I miss one? You had Tyler Boyd as well. Did I miss anybody? Boyd, Tate, Thomas, John Brown, Mike Williams, Aguilar, Davis, Chris Cohen. Gotcha. Thinking about scoring game. Thanks, man. Crabtree or Boyd. Rogers or Fitz. Can't fit that one. Tahill, Mills Music. The easy win for Boyd. I don't like Shepard. I'm going to take that one. Let go. Okay. Throwing in Golden Tate in that order as well. Let's start from the bottom here. These two. Easy win for Boyd. Whoops, my bad. Easy win for Boyd. No question asked. 72 versus 6. Too much risk with Sterling Shepard. And then you had these four. That's going to mess everything up. Then who had John Brown, Aguilar. I'm not starting Josh Gordon. No way. Even though I don't even like Robinson that much this week, I'm not starting Gordon. Let's try to get up here to where we started. That's from Loke. And you added Tate. So that's this one. I got Brown over Thomas up here. Did I put Thomas in several positions? I don't know. But I got Brown. I like Brown. Crabtree or Boyd. I like Boyd. Even though he has a high projection, it's still a lot of risk involved. Out of these players, don't like Corey Davis. Don't super like Chris Carson. That was Loke, John Brown, Fitz. I didn't even put Fitz in. I'm not starting Fitz. He doesn't even need to be in the discussion. Mike Williams, Davis, Chris Carson. Aguilar, Williams. I like Williams. That's a high probability of him reaching his projection. You need 2 full point PPR. And we threw in... No, Tate was with somebody else. My bad. Out of these, we need 2. Not Corey Davis. That's just a no. I would do Mike Williams and Chris Carson. Out of those 4. That was for Sleek. Okay. So, Mike Williams and Chris Carson for Sleek. And then it was... You want a Golden Tate here. We got the Golden Tate there. I've never had this many questions, so I'm sorry about this, that it gets a little messy. The chat moves a little bit for me, so I have a hard time seeing who I'm answering. Tyler Boyd, we got him there. Golden Tate. You wanted Demaryius Thomas down here too, and Fitz, but Fitz is not going to be. You want 3 of those. I like John Brown, Tyler Boyd, and Golden Tate. Out of these 3. Out of these 4. 5 and 6 with Fitzgerald, who's last for me. And then here was, I like Boyd and Brown. I hope I've got everybody. We got Daniel. That's Aaron Rodgers. Or Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've actually done that once in my life, and I almost shot myself after it because I was so upset with myself that I started Fitz over Rodgers. So I have a hard time saying you should start Fitz over Rodgers, even though I think he's got, as you can see, the numbers kind of speak for himself. It's still Aaron Rodgers still, but he is hurt. I'll say roll with Fitz. I gotta do it. You gotta roll with Fitz one more week. And that was Daniel. Roll with him. Fitz magic for life. And then Tom Mills music. That was Sterling Shepard. I answered that one before, but I'll do it real quick again, just so you can see. The risk is just too high with Sterling Shepard, so I'm going with Boyd. And then Allen Robinson. And we had Josh Gordon. I'm not playing Gordon. That's just this what it is. Even with the high risk for Allen Robinson, this might as well be 99% for me. I don't trust him at all as a person. Kirk, that's the wide receiver in Arizona. Don't have any numbers for him, but I got one from Tyler Lockett, Brandon. So I'm gonna throw in that. I don't want to give you any false hope or any false information about Kirk, so I'm not gonna give you any advice who to start. I'm just gonna show you Lockett's numbers and tell him like he's still a pretty good start even with Baldwin back in the lineup. Marvin Jones or Nelson Aguilar from Brendan. And if I miss any of your questions, just do another comment and add like a little smiley or something so I know that I missed something. No, I think Brandon, I think you have to make that decision yourself. I still like Lockett, but you know, if you want to gamble on a rookie, I think that's all right to do, especially with the situation with Rosen coming in. And this one was before I jump too far. This was Brendan, Marvin Jones, Nelson Aguilar, Marvin Jones for me. I like the probability, like the floor, higher ceiling. Sleek, you're welcome. Thank you for joining the chat and the stream today. And then John want to know how I feel about Sammy. I actually put Sammy in my lineup. I don't remember who I put him in over, but I like the 14-point ceiling. 18.6 projection is pretty good with 60% probability. Wide receivers usually have a little lower probability than running backs, so 60% for 8.6 is pretty darn on good. I like him. Not like super like him, but I do like him. Not as much as I like Tyler Boyd. Like look at the numbers, guys. Look at them. Feel like SpongeBob. Look at it. Okay, let's do two more questions. The one from Brandon and the one from Tom Mills. My bad. I can't pronounce that at all. Deshaun. That's not how you spell it. Deshaun Watson or Matt Stafford. Matthew. And be sure to comment if I missed any of your questions, because these are going to be the two last ones. Oh yeah, I got it right. Awesome. Watson, 80% probability of reaching 16.8. That's pretty good. 15% floor, 26 ceiling. I'm doing Watson today, especially Stafford has a tough defense to play. Never thought I'd say that the Dallas defense is tough, but that's how it is. Last question. Thank you, Brandon, too, for that question. What about Tyler Lockett or Michael Crabtree? Oof. A lot of risk involved. Better ceiling. Higher floor for Lockett as well. Still a lot of risk this week. Oh, thanks, man. You too. Depends what you need here. If you need some safe points, like 5.8, you could go Crabtree. But, I mean, that's really not going to win you a week, is it? And the 14.1 is looming right there. is right there. Yeah, but so Lockett can get one too, you know. Now, I say if you feel Crabtree, I always start what you feel. You like I follow the numbers to the dot, but if you feel that it's a touchdown for Crabtree, I say start him, because that's how what makes fantasy fun, when you have a feeling and you go with it and you win, but also you gotta roll with your feeling even when you lose. John, I tend to live stream at 12 p.m. Eastern time every Sunday. If there's not a soccer game that I watch, then I live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time every Sunday during the season. Otherwise, I put up a waiver wire article on Tuesdays, a score projection article on Thursdays, 2 snapshot videos, one on Wednesday and one on Friday, where I analyze one player in a short 3-minute video. And I do a head-to-head video where I'll take 2 similar players and pin them against each other on Saturdays. It's a little longer video, but it's very informative. And what website do I use for live streaming, or what website I use for what? For the numbers? Yeah, Lockett usually has big plays. He's a big play player, so you know, I feel like it would be good. And Jorge, I was not gonna take any more questions, but I can take this one real quick because I know it's gonna be Dion Lewis. I don't like Corey Davis at all. Oh, for the numbers, it's I just use Google Sheets, and then I've created an algorithm that takes a bunch of different factors into account and come up with a score projection. Add a statistical test called Poisson to figure out the risk of them not reaching the projection. And then I have 2 other algorithms to decide the 1-game floor and the 1-game ceiling. Oh, no worries, sorry. Hope I pronounced that correctly too. And then, where are you from? I'm from Sweden, but I'm moving to Atlanta sometime this fall. Thanks to that. My fiance is from South Carolina. You also should sell the algorithm. No, I think I'm gonna keep it. I like doing this. I think it's gonna grow big. I'm having an awesome time doing it. It's so much fun interacting with everybody, and it's just a bunch of fun. I like playing fantasy football too. My favorite football team is the Cowboys. Thanks to a movie called The Little Giants that I watched as a kid here in Sweden, and I thought the Cowboys looked so freaking cool. Otherwise, I like the Falcons too, because Atlanta is kind of my American hometown. Yeah, like you can go on csdfantasy.com and click your way to score projection, and you can see I have a spreadsheet laid out where you can put in a player that if you want the numbers for that player yes, Icebox. That's the movie. And you can put in on the website what player you want predictions done for. You can also hit me up on Twitter at CSD Fantasy if you need predictions done for an entire team. I'll put all your names right here, like whatever player you got, and send you a picture of the projections for the entire team, even your bench, if I feel like you should change out a player. Oh, you're from Boston. I'm just gonna show you that, show a little bit of hate for your city. Like I said, I was gonna try to alienate everybody, because that seems to be the way to go to create an audience. Yeah, it's game time, fellas. Brandon, that's correct. I actually got to run. So much fun having you all on here today. I'm doing this again, yes, next week. So be sure to check it out, and check out the YouTube channel and the website, csdfantasy.com. And I like to end with my catchphrase, or whatever you want to call it, but the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror.